Here is a video about my failure using something as simple as the Pareto principle that I know now for more than 10 years on my work. The Pareto principle, sometimes known as 80-20 principle, is a very useful tool to help you with productivity, and it's much more than that. Hi, I'm Martin, a professional musician with a degree in psychology. I am a systemic coach and a composer, a guitar player and a creative mind. And today we talk about failures and the Pareto principle and how it could help you. What is the Pareto principle? Here's what I found on Wikipedia. The Pareto principle, named after Wilfredo Pareto, also known as the Pareto effect or the 80-20 rule, states that 80% of the results are achieved with 20% of the total effort. The remaining 20% of the results require the most work, with 80% of the total effort. That sounds rather unspectacular, but I think it's fantastic. Imagine yourself doing some of your work, like creating a piece of art, writing a song, editing photos. If this takes about 2 hours to bring it to a very good, but not brilliant 80%, just 80%, it would take you 10 hours to bring it to 100%. And this is only your 100%, not the 100% of someone you admire. A little story we know from the book Atomic Habits sums it up pretty well. Uelsmann, photographer and professor at the University of Florida, started an unusual experiment with his class. He divided the students into two groups. The first group was to hand as many photos as possible at the end of the semester. It didn't matter whether they were good or bad, the quantity was decisive for the grade. The second group had a different task. They were only supposed to hand in one photo, but it had to be perfect. Their grade was based solely on the quality of this one picture. The result? Surprising and at the same time very logical. The best photos all came from the quantity group. The group that shouldn't care about quality ended up with the strongest results. Why? Quite simple. They just did it. They took photos, tried things out, made their mistakes and learned. While the other group pondered, analyzed, theorized and barely got into action. So, when you take the 8 hours from before, you could create 4 more pieces of art, write 4 more songs, edit 4 more photos, and get better with whatever you do. And after a while, your former 100% will be your actual 80%. So back to me now. How did I fail? I started an online course, always learning, and it went very well at the beginning. But then my wish for perfection kicked in and I started making second guesses. I overthought everything twice or even more often and got stuck with my thoughts in circles. Instead of doing, I was thinking and trying to make it more and more perfect. But why is perfection such a bad thing? Of course it isn't a bad thing in itself, but it can lead us to avoiding mistakes, and there are a few things in the world that teach us more than mistakes. Children don't worry about mistakes. If they would never learn to walk. And so should we. Another example. In the 80s, there were only 4-track recorders for us poorer musicians. If we wanted to record more than 4 tracks, we had to mix together 3 tracks recorded already on the 4th track. And then we had another 3 tracks to record again. We learned from that how to EQ and to level tracks so that they sounded good. In the beginning, we did a lot of mistakes. But when I talked to some of my friends from that time, they all told me the same. We learned so much about audio treatment. We learned from our mistakes and sometimes ruin whole songs. The reason you see this video is I decided on the way of making mistakes again. It sounds crazy, huh? That doesn't mean, I hope, that I make bad videos or bad songs, but it means that I will do what is necessary, for example making videos or writing songs, learn on my way and listen to my heart, your feedbacks, and think, but not overthink about it. And I ask you to try the same. Use the Pareto principle to be more productive, learn from mistakes, and have fun in doing. Thanks for watching. So what do you think? About what themes would you like to hear from me? Somewhere between music or art and psychology. Write it down in the comments.